Tough one right there, man.
Yeah,
Tough one.
man. Phew, man. I was so up and down through that game.
Yeah, man. I was ready to bounce and to go to this Halloween party that the family and everybody going to, and I was changing my 3 year old, and my oldest run in and hits me right in my ribs, man. They caught me like when Jermaine Johnson got the strip sack
Yeah.
in school, and I was like, oh, I was like, man, what is you doing? I was like, oh, all right, good job, son. I'm happy about that too. But that's a tough one, man, tough one.
They kept giving us opportunities to take it, though. We didn't take advantage.
Yeah, it's part of the game, man, part of the game. But anyways, those who are coming in and tuning in, this is Inside Drills instant reaction to tough loss, FSU versus Clemson. Final score 30-20. Really, the score was 24-20. Um, Clemson got a late defensive touchdown off of a really interesting um, play call, to say the least. Um, I don't really know. I don't really know exactly how to feel about it. But I'll say this: it was a really, really, really good game. And for those on Twitter, following us, man, we got a bunch of people on Twitter right now. Y'all need to go head over to YouTube if you want to comment, or I'll try to see if I can comment, like look in the actual tweet, but you can't comment on Twitter anymore. You got to go to the Facebook or the YouTube to be able to leave your comment. But please, at this point, like, share, comment, or retweet what we got going on right now. So, what were your thoughts? Your initial thoughts on it, Fred?
Yeah, man, I thought it was definitely a good game, man. It kept me on my toes the whole entire time. But man, looking at this game, it's like you had two teams that every opportunity to win the game was like, man, I don't want to win. You win the game, and they kept passing it along to each other until finally somebody took advantage late, and I felt like the refs got involved a little bit late in the game and a few calls, but in those situations, you can't allow, in games like this, you can't allow the refs to be a factor. So when you get those opportunities, you got to take advantage.
Right, and just yeah, we always had this saying like you can't let the refs decide the game. If you let the refs decide the game, you're going to get the outcome in which you got right there. And it's unfortunate. I think some of those pass interference penalties. I think the fumble from Trayshawn might have been a little bit. I got to look at the rules because I don't want to call them out on that. But for the if I guess a wrist can call. I guess the wrist is considered the hand. And I guess you can keep yourself up with your hand. You just can't keep yourself up with the elbow. Um, you know the penalties. We got plenty of turnovers on defense. Defense play. This is the best defensive play. I've been saying this all year. Fuller's the easy guy to pick on, man. Everybody picks on Fuller, man. But from the last play at Jacksonville State to some of the Notre Dame stuff, the guys are in position to make plays, and today was a great example of it. Even on the times when Clemson made big plays, they were there. When Travis J gave up the fade, he was in position. Just got to make a play on the ball. Uh, the big run, the 63-yard run, like the guys they just didn't close the gap fast enough. Like you have to do your job. It doesn't matter what scheme it is. If at the end of the day, it comes down to the players, and that's not a picking on them on an indictment or like me saying like maybe Clemson's players at that point were a little bit better off the ball or at some of those things, but you've got to do a better job of like at the point of attack. You got to do a better job of like getting after these guys. So that's really all you can really ask for on defense, and then offensively, you are what you are. Um, I still like what Jordan Travis brings to this offense. I think it's highly disrespectful. Even in the comments, we had a guy put Trevor Purdy time. Like I don't know what game you watched, and this isn't even going against Trevor Purdy. It's just the time wasn't there. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you expect? And that's kind of just that's my whole my thought process on it because it doesn't make sense for people to consistently say, Chubb was or Jordan Travis lost that game. He didn't really lose the game. Now you can like the passes you can. I think I know I had one of my boys Rhodes consistently talk about the post down the middle to Keyshawn Hilton, but look what he had to do to get the ball off. He had to avoid him, had to avoid pressure in his face, and then he threw it. Now the one in the middle, the crossing route that was behind, better throw needed, big time catch. It's just we lost, and I said it in my. I felt good about us winning, and I did. But in the article that we wrote right every pregame for fifth quarter, I put I put Clemson 24, FSU 20, and the first team to 24 is going to win this game, and we had every chance. So it's just there were questionable calls. I mean um questionable plays, but nothing overall. Like these guys played a damn good. It was a decent football game. Something we can build on. Just can't. It just stings more because you win this game, you have a really good outlet going into the rest of the season. Like rest of the games coming forward, and you're looking for a ball game. Right now, you can't really say what you're looking for. So
Yeah, I just
yeah,
this situation, like you said, a win that would have helped us out, but you can't allow this loss to turn into 2 or 3. You made a lot of progress along the season, so continue to build on that. The reality is, we found out early on in this game that the defense is exactly what we thought they were. They shut down one of the top rushing attacks in the country, so we knew that we are gonna have to be creative in how we move the ball. So it was definitely tough, and there were some plays there. The play to Keyshawn that you talked about. I know he wants that one back, but like you said, he had to do a lot to get him open. The only one I think that probably hunt him is taking that sack late in the game. That's one, like, man, just get the ball out and play for the fourth down and try to see what we can get on fourth down.
right. And I think that comes to situational awareness and IQ. And something that you can't get when you've been for most of your career, you've been splitting time and always looking over your shoulder. You know, the only thing you don't have any timeouts. The only thing you can, I mean, not timeouts, you do at that point, but the only thing you can tell them as a coach is, hey, let's not take a sack. Let's live to fight another day. Let's do woo, woo, woo. Um, you know, it's just again, that effort played against most of the teams on the schedule. I think pulls out a win. Um, that running back, man, for Clemson, that white boy bad, man.
He nice.
I call it's a young man here in Jacksonville. That's a running back at one of the big time high schools, Bowles. He's white, going to Air Force. Cade Frew. Actually, my favorite running back in the city. I think he's the best running back in the city of Jacksonville. I call him Cap, but it ain't what everybody else thinks. Like when people say you Cap, it's not good. But if you white and I say, man, you Cap, bro, that means you're good. You cold ass pilgrim. That's what Cap stand for. His whole family wants Cap shirts to say cold ass pilgrim. But I was sitting here watching this kid and how hard he runs and like feet moving. My position coach called it AFOC, accelerated feet on contact, like ending the run, like punishing at the end of the run, as opposed to letting the guys come to you like that. Bravo, hats off to him. You can see the where DJ, whatever the fuck you say his name is, was not getting it done, not being what most people consider quarterbacks to be, the leader. This guy was being the leader for Clemson, and I have to give props and kudos to where it's due. I mean, people are like, we need better linebacker play. I'm like, man, what do you want them to do? Like, they're actually the defense is playing well. It's just that's a motherfucking good running back. Like he will be. He's what people envision. I don't think he's as good as Christian McCaffrey, but he is good though. I remember once, even in the past, he gave a guy that the vision to be able to see things behind you. You can't coach that up. We were actually talking about this on Sports Den in training, and I was telling people about running backs. I'm like, running back, I can teach you how to run block. I can teach you how run block, pass block, run routes out the backfield, and maybe work on your hands a little bit. Teach you your steps and how to play supposed, but vision ain't no drills for vision. You're not supposed to jump cut every play. You're not supposed to spin every play. The people like Dalvin, the people who are good at that, God bless them with a sixth sense. That's just that you can't do that. Like when it happens, it happens. For that kid, that guy to be somewhere and he made a spin move, like had our guy in a blender. I was like, yo, that's just like you can't really you can't put that up on the board and tell somebody how to handle that. Like I don't know what else to do with that one, but kudos to Clemson. I still hate Dabo. Um, I still think they soft. But damn, they messed up a pretty damn good weekend that I was having right now. But it's all good.
Yeah, man, I thought we were gonna pull it out, but yeah, shoot, like you said, with one man, you got to give credit where it's due. The quarterback wasn't doing what he's supposed to do. One, I was surprised at how physical he ran the ball. To be honest with you, like he was lowering that shoulder, getting extra yards, man. Like
I don't know if you saw my tweet though. You know how you run it? That's how you run against a damn 8-man box.
oh yeah,
Like him, you run like his ass, and you gonna get through. You punishing somebody, man.
yeah, he was running that thing. You gotta give credit where it's due, man. He had a hell of a game.
Definitely. So going into the stuff that we do each week, not going to harp on it too much again. It was a tough loss, 30-20, in Death Valley. The guys fought hard. They continue to play good. Some more development. They still need to continue to take steps. They got to learn how to close out games, learn how to win games. But we're gonna go into our good, bad, and our ugly. So let's start off with what was some of your ugly moments, or what's the ugly stuff you saw in the game?
The ugly would have to be special teams for me. We've had an issue with for some reason a few times this season, fielding kicks. It cost us in the a few games, and we knew early on in this game, with it being a defensive battle, that field position was going to be critical, and it came back to Hunters. I think we lost like 30 to 40 yards on just not fielding kicks today. So that's the ugly for me.
Yeah, not that again. That comes to me situational awareness. Not feel like you said, not fielding the kicks when you're supposed to. Letting them fair catching it inside the 10. That last, even though very little was going to be done, it was only 34 seconds. But letting the ball roll, you lost 10 seconds on a
Yeah,
punt. Like you go field it, even if you fair catch it, you field it. But like at that time, we need a play. So we gotta make something happen with that. Um, my real ugly is I'm gonna go to the last play of the game. Last play of the game. There's ways to lose. You like I'll show me a good loser and I'll just show you a loser. But there's no need for us to do like run plays, man. Run plays, and if the play doesn't work, the play doesn't work. We know we got to try to do a Hail Mary in that situation. You did it the play before. Obviously it didn't work, but like we ain't running no annexation to Puerto Rico, man. In this situation, man, it ain't like it's not even that. It ain't even that pressing. But it just seems like, and I get it. Very few haven't played it. Very few teams. Very few. I remember very few practices. We put a lot of time in. You know, 30-second drills trying to cover 70 yards. NFL, it seems to happen a lot easier in the NFL than it does in college. But I think that would be the only real ugly thing because I believe for the most part, um, it wasn't a bad game or it wasn't, overall wasn't bad. And now it'll change as you know the extent as you know again you have the standard and then you have your expectations. So I my expectations are what they are. You know, as they meet expectations, you got to raise them up because the standard is championships. But and I don't know if it's my expectations are so low because of how bad they did before, and maybe I should expect more. But what I saw is more bad that's correctable than just downright ugly because I saw a defense that performed well enough to win and an offense that had plenty of chances to be able to win as well. The only thing that was uglier than anything we did was Clemson's special teams. So shout out to them for keeping us in the game. What about your bad?
My bad. You just touched on the opportunities that we had on the offensive side. Late in that game, the fall starts. I think it was a situation in the fourth where we had a third and long, but it's like a third and six if we don't have the fall start on first down. And in games like that, the little things matter, and it hurt us in the long run when we were trying to make a run back. Defense gets a stop for us, or defense gets a turnover, and then we just like kind of piss away a drive with some of those mistakes.
Right. Yeah, that's my bad is I'll say overall offensive performance. But like, going to before I even get to that, going into like just certain times it's like the play calling just didn't make sense. One thing I do like that they did before I get into the really bad part is that I said this on No Game Day, whatever that message is on Twitter that people do now. I think people confuse culture with identity, right? So like now our team is starting to get an identity on defense, starting to get an identity on offense, right? So our identity is really into the run game. And I'm glad it wasn't really working like we wanted it to. But if we would have like stepped out and tried to make Jordan Travis a five wide spread, just run and shoot quarterback, the game would have got worse. But we still tried to stay in our game plan. I just don't know if I have to go back and watch it. I don't understand the play development of some of the calls. I don't understand like when we're going for it on fourth down. Like I'm putting the ball if I'm gonna not make it, I'm not gonna make it with a one-on-one matchup to the outside with Jordan Travis. Like I felt like he should have pulled it. Like we're running into the teeth of this defense, and where they're really bullying us is up the middle. Like that's really and it going to what you were talking about with your bad. Like these penalties. These penalties came from guys that were key transfers that are doing a lot of talk, like a lot of good in the NIL space, and a lot. And I'm not knocking them for that, but like and I hate to call you out, but it is what it is. Like Dylan Gibbons, we can't have that. That's the play you were talking about, where it's third and manageable, and then we get the false start. Dude, you've been in this situation. We can't have a play where like we're driving and Jordan Travis is like trying to step up in the pocket and you're getting bullied on the three-man pass rush, bro. Like you were brought here to be better than what we had, so that we could develop what we had, and we didn't get that opportunity. Again, it's not your fault we lost the game. It's just in some key moments we needed you to step up, and when you add all the players that didn't do what they needed to do at key moments, that's when you get the bad. That's how you lose the close games. Coach Bowden used to talk about if you really look at almost every football game, it's really only it's 4 to 5 plays that if you go back and you look at it, those were the case. Sometimes it's less, but if those 4 to 5 plays would have been made, like it would have been the game would have been way different. And it sounds small, but it's big. It's very major, and and a lot of people will talk about the mixed extra. That was part of the ugly mixed extra point. You can't have that, but I didn't in the grand scheme. Actually, the grand scheme of things that made the game a lot tougher because even after they scored again, going for three puts you in a different scenario than going for seven because you for going for the half to win. So all these guys got to continue to build each other up and just do better for each other. If nothing else. So what? Let's lead the people with the good.
Man, we said it. We said it before the game even started. These are the type of games that you live for. Big plays got to be made. The refs against you, whatever the case may be. And the defense, they didn't allow that to stop them. Bad calls on their side, but every time they got put in a bad situation, they responded. Turnovers, getting a short field, they're forcing them to kick field goals, and they weren't giving up touchdowns. So shout out to the defense. And we got a turnover. Well, 2 turnovers and 1 for a score. So defense showed up big. That's my good. And shout out to them for responding when we needed them the most.
Talk about a lot of adversity they had to face, man. Like, going when we went for it on fourth down and got stopped, they were able to effectively force them to kick a field goal, which they missed. Numerous times they got an interception. We turned the ball over. I think we got a fumble right after that. I think they stopped them. Like the defense rose to the occasion for the most part. And I want to say kudos to Coach Fuller for having a game plan, having those boys understanding it. Um, Jermaine Johnson came on late. Kier Thomas came on late. The guy who really we've been like big ups to little bro Kalen DeLoach all season, been having a season. Amari Gaynor had a game.
Man, he was everywhere.
Like everywhere. The moving Amari from inside to outside literally just allows his athletic. He's much better in coverage that way. Catching it with the running back in the flat. He had a couple pass breakups on one. He was able to, he got the fumble recovery when Jamie Robinson stripped it. He got tons of tackles. It was just really, really good to see Herb Gainer's baby boy out there doing what he needed to do. So, shout out to Amari for playing very well. And outside of that last drive, where they got the 2 15-yarders. I think both of them were taking tech. I think all the pass interferences were pretty bullshit calls. I just think the only change I would make this game, and I think they're going to have to do it against North Carolina State because he's a much better passer. They have a good running back as well. They're going to have to do it against Miami because these next 2 weeks are really, really tough games at home. We're going to have to bring more pressure up the middle. Like we're going to have or really help get that other out because you got Johnson that they can double team effectively. Kier Thomas. Oh, Fabian made a big play too. Knocked my man sideways when he was trying to get that first down. We got to bring more pressure up the middle or make these quarterbacks have to make tougher throws. So that's my only critique on them. But for the most part, man, that defense play lights out. Hopefully they continue to get better as a group. We find guys that can fill in some of these spaces and fill some of these voids for these guys because a couple of them, actually a lot of them, all of them are eligible on that D line to leave, I believe. But we want to make sure we keep most of them back. So, shoot.
Yeah,
Other
man,
than that, man.
we ain't had a game like that since early in the season. I mean, the last 3 games, they've been even Syracuse. They had control of that game from the jump and almost lost it late. But this was one of those games where you go back to the beginning of the season. You're like, man, the little details, man. You look back at the end of this game, like, man, I wish I had that played back. So hopefully, it's something that we can build on because you see, we got a better team now. We're growing in a lot of different areas. So, like you said, we got NC State, Miami coming up, and it looks like Miami's getting rolling, and NC State they can put up points. So we're gonna have to put everything together and play our best games the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's basically all you can do. You got to quote one of my mentors, Kevin Sullivan, you can't just quit every game. You got to still play. Still got the rest of the season going. It's what are you going to do for it? What are you going to do about it now? Like, how are you going to end it? What's going to be the legacy? What's going to be the legacy for this team? And I think that's what Mike know because not everything. Like, well, people got. I don't know if y'all did it. You can correct me, but I know when I was there, every year we talked about playing for championships, but the number one goal, the reach goal every year, national championship, right? And we know we do. We play for the national championship. Right up under that, got to win the ACC championship. Right up under that. Well, before for 3 of my years, it was only the ACC. Then my last year was got to win your division because that's when we split. So we got to win Atlantic. We're Atlantic, yeah. So we got to win the Atlantic. Then 8 games. You know, then this individual seg awards. So even when you go from there, like those are your goals, you still got to go one by one. So like yeah, so when you lost that game to Notre Dame, you really wasn't in it anyway. We're not making the playoffs. You lost the Jacksonville State, lost the other things. So a lot of the goals that were reach goals are off of it. But like I always tell people, until you've been to a bowl game, you don't really know what it's like. And this is a culture of guys who haven't, again, as the OG Marvin Jones came on to say, these guys are still learning how to win. This is the first group of guys who graduated Florida State since probably like 78 that haven't had a winning record. Like not one seat, like right. If they don't have a winning record this year, they haven't had 1 year. So going to a bowl game increases morale for them. And hopefully we won't do what Miami did. Like when they got, they went to the one bowl game they won in the last 20 years or 15, 16 years. And they got it around showing recruits that we don't want to go to that part. But we do want these guys to have something to play for, because the other part of going to a bowl game is that you get, I believe it's like 10, those are 10 extra practices. That's an extra game that you get to get better. And you need your guys to get better. And yeah, seniors need to get maybe another clip, another game film, but like really your younger guys are getting some more opportunities to do more things. I remember even that last practice before it was on Christmas Eve, because we got to go home. Yeah, our last practice was Christmas Eve. Go home Christmas Day. You just gotta be back. We gotta be at the bowl site on the 26th or the 27th, depending on what year it was. They called it the toilet bowl, and it was like they would scrim. It would be a scrimmage between like the red shirt freshmen and sophomores, walk-ons, guys who. And while all jokes aside, they wouldn't. That's a practice time that the coaches could let other guys get healthy and do whatever we needed to do, but they could really focus in on making sure that these guys who are going to be the future are doing what they need to do. So, you know, they still got the bowl game to try to get, and then it still means a lot. You got 2 rivals that will kick your teeth in if you fold. So fans continue to show up. These guys are getting better each week. You cannot tell me that this team today looked like the team against Jacksonville State. You can't even tell me that the team today looks like the team that played Notre Dame. They look better. They're getting better. They're coming together as a team. And we should continue to come together as a fan base to support them. Nothing wrong with critique. It's all done in love. But we all want to see them do the best. So make sure y'all, check them out, support them. We still got 2 more home games. Nothing helps sway recruits more than them seeing that stadium packed to capacity. So make sure they feel that love. Other than that,
you said everything that was on the wall. We had one more thing, one more accomplishment. We had the state championship. We had to win out in our state. We got Miami. We got Florida. Say whatever you want to say. The game's got to be played. So we got an opportunity to win out on those and get in the bowl game. But winning those games helps us out so much in recruiting. So it's big to finish out the season strong.
Right. So housekeeping stuff. Just for anybody who wants to, again, we're still raising tickets. I'm not trying to raise tickets for the Miami game. Not even going to pretend that for people to want to give those away. North Carolina State tickets are still affordable. So if you got tickets and you don't plan on going, please hit me up. Would love nothing more than to get fans in the game or in the stands. If you want to donate money, that's fine too. We're having a Miami tailgate, lot 19. I don't care what time the game is. If it's noon, it's going to be a brunch. If it's at 3:30 or 8 o'clock, then it's going to be what it's going to be, and it's going to be a great time. So it's going to be fun. Either way, the food's going to be delicious. My guy Matt is going to be cooking. He pretty much guaranteed me that. So we'll have a menu for that soon. It's $40, all you can eat, all you can drink. If you like cigars, we got cigars out there for you to be able to smoke. The $40 is going toward my Thanksgiving drive. We're trying to get 100 families in Jacksonville, 100 families in Tallahassee, giving them a full Thanksgiving meal. So turkey, cornbread stuffing, starch, two vegetables, and some bread. That's what we're trying to get. So it's roughly between about $75 to $100 to feed a family. So two tickets basically feeds a family. So if you're buying it, appreciate it. If you want to donate, make sure you hit me up. We'll have all the things to be able to donate. We had somebody already. We already had somebody put up $5,000. I think I would put up about 2,500 myself. So we're gonna. Bottom line is the family's gonna get fed. If you buy the tickets, that just makes sure more people get fed. If you donate, it just makes sure more people get fed. So during this time, those of us who are blessed, let's try to continue to be a blessing and hope for the best for Florida State. So I ain't got nothing else, man.
I'm good.
Happy Halloween, y'all. Be safe. Look forward to seeing everybody in NC State.